This story takes place in a quiet town in Spain. On a late night, when a couple was driving on the road, suddenly an accident happened, causing their death. The scene looked like an unexpected accident. But right after that, our main character Carlos approached the car. He used all his strength and pulled the woman out of the car and dragged her into his car. After that, he drove to a small cabin which was far from the city center. This place was his slaughterhouse. At this place, he took all the woman's clothes off and placed her on the table. After that, he chose one of the knives on the wall and started sharpening it. He cut her into pieces. He seemed very skillful. After finishing, Carlos brought a large bag of meat to his house and put it in the refrigerator to keep it fresh. Then he returned to his tailor shop and started working as usual. He was a famous tailor in the town. Because of his skills and gentleness, Carlos was very well respected. However, people didn't know what was hidden behind this glossy appearance. Carlos had a horrible habit of eating people. He had an unspeakable desire for human flesh. He often chose beautiful young ladies to eat. The car accidents that had happened were all arranged by Carlos. He didn't find interest in anything apart from working and eating people. He had no feeling for anyone else. That night, it rained heavily. When he entered the building and was about to close the door, a beautiful woman in red coat walked in, who came with a big suitcase. She was Alexandra, his new neighbor. Carlos was very interested in this beautiful young woman. He chose her as his new prey at the first sight. He also suggested to carry the suitcase for her. If Carlos wasn't a cannibal, he would be a gentle guy for sure. After returning home, he started enjoying his meat. During the meal, he didn't say a word and just focused on the dish. The next day, when he returned from work, he accidentally saw Alexandra, who lived in the floor above. At this time, a strange man had just walked out from her house. Night fell. Carlos sat on the bed and looked out. He seemed to remember something. The next morning, when Carlos was working at his tailor shop, Alexandra suddenly turned up. She didn't come to make a suit, but wished to place an advertisement of her massage service at his shop. She was new to this town and didn't know anyone, so she hoped that Carlos could help her find some customers. He immediately agreed. Before leaving, Alexandra also invited Carlos to come when he had free time. At night, there was fighting sound upstairs. Alexandra was having an awful argument with a strange girl. After a while, she suddenly knocked on Carlos's door. She said that she was in danger and needed help. What Carlos had to do was lying to the police. But he turned her down because he didn't want to be related to the police. Because of that, Alexandra didn't want to leave. She told him that she wanted a drink. So Carlos came to the kitchen to get her a glass of water. When Carlos didn't pay attention, she opened the refrigerator and discovered the raw meat, which Carlos was hiding. Curious, Alexandra asked him why there was only meat. Carlos didn't answer and just closed the refrigerator. It might because he was afraid that this woman had discovered his secret, or because his desire for human flesh was aroused. Carlos suddenly changed his mind and agreed to help her. He also offered to take her to the police station, which made Alexandra very glad. After that, Carlos drove his car away with her. However, the destination wasn't the police station, but his small cabin in the woods. Alexandra then turned into fresh meat in Carlos's refrigerator. He now had more food to eat. The next day, Alexandra had completely disappeared. Apart from Carlos, no one knew where she was. Shortly afterwards, Alexandra had gone missing. Her twin sister Nina came to Carlos and asked him about her sister. Carlos was very nervous when he met Nina. He asked her the reason why she came to find him. Nina said she had once heard about him from Alexandra and then left. Another prey came to him. How could Carlos let go of it? He then hurriedly invited Nina to his house. He said that he would help finding Alexandra. After that, he called a friend who was working at the police station. The two became closer and closer as Carlos helped Nina to find her sister. Nina also started to trust him and told him that Alexandra had stolen an important amount of money. It was the reason why they had argued. The fact was that they used to work together and had saved up 3,000 euros. This money was to pay the rent for their parents. Without it, their house would be confiscated. But now both Alexandra and the money had disappeared. Nina didn't know what to do. It might because of feeling guilty, Carlos gave her 3,000 euros, which made Nina really appreciate. To thank him, Nina decided to give him a free massage. Under the dim light, Nina started. To other people, this was a very normal experience. But to a cannibal like Carlos, it was a challenge for him. As expected, the beast in Carlos was awakened. He immediately left without saying a word. Obviously, he didn't want to harm Nina. After that, Carlos went to the sea and aimed at a young couple. Because of having no desire for men, he took the chance when the woman was in the water and hit the man by his car. Then, he stood on the cliff waiting for the woman to return. But because she was too scared, she didn't dare go ashore. Until night fell, because of being exhausted, she drowned herself in the water. This hunting trip was a failure. After that, Carlos went to the church and prayed. Until now could we know that the real purpose for Carlos to eat human flesh. He was just a pious believer. However, he was too pessimistic. He killed and ate those women to confess his feelings to them. Because of love, he ate her. In order to show his loyal love to them. A few days later, the police discovered a corpse in the sea. Nina was requested to come and check whether that was her sister. Because of being nervous, she asked Carlos to go with her. After learning that the corpse wasn't Alexandra, Nina could calm down. But she was still very sad because she didn't hear anything from her sister. Afterwards, Alexandra's brutish boyfriend came to her. He doubted that Nina killed Alexandra after taking the money back. And then called the police herself. Carlos was very opposed to that because he knew